Okay, good to get another win here, at home in particular. Crowd was outstanding again, and what a beautiful night in Western New York. Great to see us spread the ball around. I thought the effort and the production from Gabe and Khalil was important for us. All receivers, tight ends included, were involved. I think Dalton had, was it 8 targets, 5 catches. Good to see him get going there as well. I thought Coach Dorsey called a good game, and then the special teams. Sam Martin had a heck of a game. Pinning them down deep into their own end zone, and that helped us from a complimentary football standpoint. We wish we could have gotten some more points out of it in the fourth quarter in particular, where we had them backed up a couple times. They were punting, but we had some penalties show up. I think it was back of the third, early fourth there, which cost us some valuable yards and a chance to close them out. Thought the defense did a good job, for the most part, most of the game, and rushing coverage, working together. Wish we could have gotten them a little bit more from a sack production standpoint, but there's always something to work on there. So with that, I'll turn it over to you with your questions.
Josh, I would ask you more about the offensive approach. I know your level of involvement was increased, but to see him go up tempo,
Yeah.
and Josh talked about that Ken gave him a lot of stuff they were very familiar with to help kind of streamline that process.
Right. Again, just increased levels of communication, but really it was them. It was Coach Dorsey, the offensive staff, and Josh and the players on offense. I mean, they got into a good rhythm. I mean, that was what I'm used to seeing, really, and it was fun to watch. And Josh looked very comfortable. The offense looked very comfortable, and probably the first time, other than maybe in episodes of the Raiders game and then again in Miami, where it just looked like it was every play wasn't an adventure. Every play wasn't just there looked like there were some easy plays, I guess I should say. So that was good.
Part of that seemed like Josh willingness, it seemed, to run the ball. Was that an emphasis at all this week?
A little bit. I would say you're talking about running in designed runs or scrambles?
The scrambles.
Both. Yeah, I would say both. I liked how we got him going early there with the quarterback draw, I think it was, in the first quarter, first drive. So, yeah, I was very pleased.
Jake said 9 catches, 70 yards. That's kind of what he does. But to get those other guys involved, how much does that change your whole offense when it's not just a play or two, but they're all making a ton of plays?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're playing good team offense, the ball is spread around, not intentionally, but the ball finds the open receiver, right, or the open tight end, and that's when we're at our best. We're not forcing things. We're not predetermining where the ball's going. We're going where the defense tells us that the ball should go, and I thought that showed up rather consistently through the night, and I thought a great 4-minute execution when we got that critical third down the stretch there, which took more time off the clock. So. Again, much to work on. We've got to get better at closing a team out. We had opportunities to close them out, and we left them hang around due to some, field position type situations and penalties, like I said, and then fourth downs in the defense. I thought we had them a couple times in there, and apparently not. So, but a lot to learn from.
Sean, what went into the decision to have Josh Norman up tonight and Kyrie will be a home scratch?
Yeah, it's we want the players in this point, and we feel like every decision we make is who can help us win, and that's we wanted to see what Josh could do there.
Sean, Mitch talked about the decision to go up tempo offensively as maybe a method to build energy. How much was energy in having that top to bottom of this team a focus on?
Well, I could feel the team, and I'm hoping you guys could too. They came out with an attitude, and it started in the locker room, really. Stephon Diggs, his little motivational couple of words he said to the team before we went out there. That's what a leader does. He did a phenomenal job of basically setting the tone with his message before the game.
Would you love to relay that message to us?
No, I don't think you guys want to hear that. I don't. Yeah, you know what? Last year, a lot of last year it was, and then I've just tried to use some of the veterans, and then Steph asked for it this game, and that's what a leader does. He steps up when he knows the team needs him to step up and speak up, and I applaud him for that. That's great leadership right there.
Coach, I know one of the reasons you guys drafted Dalton was because of how sure-handed he was. He came into this game with one of the highest catch rates in the league, and I think he goes 5 for 5 again. Is there something about his sure-handedness that maybe even exceeds expectations?
I don't know. That's a pretty deep question there, Chris. I don't know. Talk to his mom and dad. I think maybe it's a gift from them, and I think both of them were athletes, right? So, he's got that background, just good hands, and you love that. If you're going to play receiver, you better be able to catch the football. There's a lot of receivers out there that are extremely fast but can't catch the football, so they're not really receivers at that point.
It seemed like his catch along the sideline fired up a lot of the guys
Yeah.
on your side.
On the toe tap right there.
Noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, for a rookie, to have the field awareness and the presence to catch the ball first, control his body, get his feet down, let his feet go dead right on the sideline. That was fun to watch.
Josh said it was a bit scary going into the medical tent, because you never know as a quarterback what you're going through in that situation. How did you see him kind of respond to that coming out and going back in the game?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'd heard that they were taking him in there, and then he was out. And honestly, at that point, it's like, hey, okay, Kyle's in, and let's continue to roll. So I know Kyle was ready and chomping at the bit to get out there. So it was a good job by him. And then Josh came back. Right. The next time I heard of it was Josh was going back out there, and I think it was when the play we got, the series change. I think where we got the ball back there, and it wasn't even before then that I said they told me that Josh was okay. It was just right then. It was like, hey, Josh is going back out.
And just to follow that, tomorrow may be a better time to ask you this question,
Yeah.
Sean, but are you more or less concerned or the same about his shoulder at this point?
Yeah, going into the game, you mean, comparing it to going into?
Maybe coming out of it, I mean, it took another shot.
Yeah, no, I'm always concerned about, anyone's injury, in particular Josh's. He's so tough, so competitive. It didn't surprise me when they said, hey, he's going back in. But from a, I don't know, like a protective standpoint, you're going to have to take his helmet from him, to keep him from going back out there. So, he's a warrior.
Hey, Sean, what went into the decision to get Khalil more involved tonight, not even just from a catch and yard perspective?
Yeah, I just think overall, again, offensively, Joe, is just the ball found the open players, right? And where the defense took away certain receivers and tight ends and backs, the ball found, Josh was making good, sound decisions he was playing the position, right? And I think that's important. When he's at his best, he plays the position. He was hitting his checkdowns. He slid. I think that was the third quarter. And even just doing that, that's playing the position. And he is elite when he does that.
Retention seemed better tonight, Sean. Just your thoughts on the offensive line.
Yeah, again, some of that comes from, I thought that they did a good job, number one. Number two is I think some of that comes from the no huddle, where we're keeping the defensive line on the field. They're getting tired, and then they're a little bit easier to block when they're worn down a little bit too. So, but overall, Coach Cromer and the offensive line, I thought, did a good job.
Back-to-back weeks that Dalton Kincaid makes big contributions in the passing game. What do you need from him going forward now that Dawson Knox is on IR?
To be him, really continue to grow like all the players, in particular the young players, grow every week, get a little bit better and find things to work on. This is a rookie in his, I think for him, his 7th game, right? So he missed that one game, and he just, he's done a good job. And I think, when you watch the rapport of a good tight end and a quarterback, it only grows over the years, and the more they play together, the better it should get.
Sean, just overall, how much of I don't know if relief is the right word, but how nice is it to see the offense looking like you're used to seeing it play, especially now going into this kind of mini bye that you're sort of on right now?
Yeah. Again, I applaud the staff and the players. They put their heads together, and it's one thing to come up with a plan. It's another thing to come out and execute the plan. And, again, this doesn't mean that all of a sudden, okay, we've arrived. It's like, hey, what's the next step? And I loved, in addition to throwing the football around, short, intermediate, a couple deep maybe, that we integrated some of the run game as well. So I think that's, again, when you're able to stay somewhat two-dimensional within that, it presents challenges.
You
Sean,
mentioned Josh sliding. Mitch Morse laughed and said we should frame it and put it up there. Is that something you still have to say to him?
I'm
Or
done
is-
saying that. I'm done saying it. He knows. So he knows. So if he's going to run, he needs to slide. He knows that. So that conversation's been had over and over and over again. So short of hitting him over the head with a baseball bat and knocking him out, it's his job to slide. So
I guess that would defeat the purpose of the slide.
You had mentioned in the opening statement, you thought the defense was good for the most part, and you mentioned sack production as one area, but just
Yeah.
how did you evaluate the defense as a whole tonight?
yeah, I mean, the plays, I thought the effort was outstanding. I thought the coverage was really good, aside from the one to Mike Evans, the touchdown on the Mike, and he beat us, and we had inside leverage, and he beat us inside, and I'm not sure, was it CB? I don't know. Anyway, we'll learn from that. But I thought the coverage was helping the rush, and we were able to pressure a few times and get him on the ground or cause a tip pass. So I was liking that as well. Just and that play, the drive that they scored on, I think it was multiple fourth downs, and some of those were calls by the officials, and they saw what they saw, and so we have to extend the drive. I think it was a 22-play drive. So, but I love how they closed it out at the end. I think that's also it's easier said than done. No matter was it 24, 20, 21 seconds left, no timeouts, but you got Mike Evans out there who's taller than any DB we have, and you're always aware that thing could go down the field at any point in time, and he wins a jump ball, and then you're in trouble. So, we were harassing the quarterback. I thought we could have had more sack production to close the game out. I think that's the thing I'm looking for.